this statement that goes from a parent, perhaps yours or an auntie or someone, saying, I was once a youth. We get it. I totally understand you were once a youth. Where is this coming from? Maybe I should start from the beginning. So a couple of days ago, was it a couple of days? The other day, I was having a conversation with a group of youth from a different church, and the number one complaint was that they don't get support from their parents. That when it comes to the church context, that there's certain things that they want to do as a church fraternity, as the youth of the church, but the folks are not supportive of their decisions and ideas. And the folks clap back. They're like, nah, you see, you guys are disorganized, you guys want things easy, you guys are this, you guys are that. And then every single parent that talked said that same statement. We were once youth. So it got me thinking, okay, I get that. You're older and wiser, so you definitely experienced a lot of things that we have, or you're experiencing the same things that we're experiencing. But perhaps, have you thought that perhaps, just tiny little bit, there's a possibility that the things that we're experiencing are different because we're in a different time? Yeah, that statement hit a nerve somewhere. Because folks think just because they're older and wiser and they've experienced these things, they know better. And that is true. Don't get me wrong, that is entirely true. But I think folks need to chill a bit in this sense. Whatever happened in 1900 isn't the same thing that's happening in 2019. You get? Yes, there's certain things that you experience that we're experiencing now, but we are experiencing them differently. We are not refuting the fact that you experienced them, that you went through them, and that you have a solution. And we're not refuting the fact that we want to hear that solution and actually implement it. But some of the times we actually have implemented that solution and it hasn't worked. And because it hasn't worked, we come back and say, hey, this ain't working. Do you have any more advice? Is there another way I can go about this? You understand? Okay. Let's put this in context, right? Let's talk about a career, for example. Let's give an example. Career, for example. Back in the day, the system, at least in this country, was you read, you pass, you get a degree, and you get a job. That's just how it is. Right now, that works for some people. That works for some careers. Because some careers you need to go to school, you need to read, you need to get a degree, you perhaps need to get a master's or even a PhD to maintain that job. You get? But there's some careers where people have entered into those careers without education, without the proper education. Perhaps they have a degree, but not in the field that they are in right now. Which tells us what? Times have changed. Yeah? Is education important? Hell yes. Y'all need to know how to read and write, right? But you find there's a lot of people in certain fields who have a degree in something else. I'll take my field, for example. I'm a journalist. That's what I studied for. right? That's what I have a degree in, right? But in my field, you find there are lawyers, there are even engineers. There's people who pursued a totally different degree, but have a job that I'm looking for. How did they get there? I don't know. Perhaps nepotism, perhaps something else. Perhaps they actually have a genuine talent for being a communicator. No problem. But you see, it kind of puts me back in the sense, because now that person has my job and I have this degree and I don't know what to do with it, right? Now here's the kicker, or here's the spanner in the works. Now parents will say, the folks will go and say, when you have to somewhere for that job, like, do you have to get that person? Like, there's people out there who are selling skuma, who are pushing them kokoteni, who are sweeping the streets. Ain't no problem with that. But I didn't go to school to go sweep the streets. No offense to those people who are actually keeping the streets clean, who are actually pushing them cocoa. No, that's a hustle. Good job, thumbs up. But that wasn't my dream. I wanted to be a communicator. I want to be in the journalism field. But for some reason I can't get in because there's no jobs in my field, right? So what do? I go and try and find how I can get in, right? So I know someone who knows someone who knows someone who comes to my church who is in the same field as me, right? And I get connection to them and say, hey, help me out, like help me put even a toe through the door, right? But then they're like, back in my day we had to work hard and do all these things. I'm like, okay, no problem, but I'm stuck. I need your help. What's this lecture about working hard? It's a given. Anybody who wants to pursue any given career needs to work hard at it. That's common sense, right? So when I come to you for help, that's me not working hard. I don't get it. Which brings us back to the topic, like, how did you get that job? You worked hard for it. You probably applied. You probably sent your CV 3 million times. And finally, you got it. No problem. You worked hard in your sense. Or there's even other parents who, by chance, got in through the door because someone helped them there. Right? So when I'm coming to you for the same grace, suddenly you don't want to grant it to me because I'm not working hard. Does that make sense? Or I don't get it. Now, please note, before you start throwing stones, I'm talking here as someone who's still a youth and who's also a parent, right? I have a child, okay? And I am going to do, it is my duty as a parent to make sure I provide everything for my child, right? So when it gets to the point when she needs a job or when she needs something from me that's going to elevate her life in some way, I am going to do it. You understand? I am not going to sit her down and lecture her how back in my day I was number 1 in class and I had to work for miles without shoes and I still did well. Like, that's every parent's story. At least for my generation. Every parent in my generation was top of their class and they had to walk miles without shoes and cross rivers. And like, hey, you guys, seriously. Seriously. But times have changed in the sense that there's certain careers back then that exist now that don't make sense to parents. For example, this very YouTube channel. There's someone who this is their whole career. Like, they wake up in the morning and they create content to put on the digital space. But there's a parent out there thinking, why are you wasting your time? on the YouTube and social media, it doesn't help you. Social media is what's changing the economic, in my opinion, the economic status of the world. Like everything now is digitalized. There's everything now is, there's no paper trail anymore. You can do anything by just your cell phone. So you find a lot of millennials or a lot of youth like this all the time, the thumbs. Perhaps they're entertaining themselves. No doubt about that. Perhaps they are. But have you ever thought that perhaps that person is actually working? I know it's kind of hard to fathom. I get it, because we are so used to a job being confined to a desk in a cubicle in an office somewhere. Have folks ever thought, have you ever thought that perhaps some people are just not meant for a 9 to 5? That's why you have jobs like photography, videography, content creator, artists, music. There's so many things in the art industry that people can pursue, but for some reason the folks can't get their minds wrapped around it. What's my point? I think it's high time we as youth establish ourselves in the sense that we need to help the older generation understand the times are changing and this is what we need from them. Not keep complaining about stuff. Because there's also the flip side about things. Because you find a lot of youth are complaining, oh, we don't get this, or we're not, times are hard right now, the folks are not helping us with this, but they're not helping themselves, right? For example, if you're a musician, right, and your folks have access to a DJ or a producer or someone in your same field, right, who can help you elevate your field, and they give you this opportunity and you have nothing to show for it, would your folks be wrong in saying that youth these days are lazy, they just want everything easy? They wouldn't, because you want what you want but you're not working hard towards it. That's the flip side. So where do we draw the line? Because I don't think folks are that dumb to complain that youth are lazy and we want things easy and we want things now. Because sometimes those are a result of our own actions. We are the ones who made them think like that. They didn't just wake up in the morning and start thinking about that. Nah. You get. And they're comparing with what they know, and what they know is what they experienced when they were your age. So I think it's time right now I don't want to say draw the line. I want to say express ourselves. We need to understand each other. Like, youth need to understand, okay, folks are older and wiser and they may know more things. They might see what you can't see sitting down while you are standing up. And folks need to understand, times are changed. Things are not the same anymore. There's certain things that are, but there's a lot of things that aren't. And the things that aren't, perhaps we should be open enough and approachable enough to understand, okay, how can I adapt to the changing times, and how can I be relevant to my child, to the younger generation, to the generation that actually needs my help. Because if the older generation doesn't help us, then we have a mentality of not helping the younger ones. It's a cycle of life which it has to break at some point. It has to stop at some point. I think the time is now. Communication is key. Tell me what you think. Comment down below. Do you agree with me? Is it high time? Or what do you think about this issue? Comment down below. I will respond, I promise. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. It really helps my channel. And thank you for joining me on my corner of the internet. Till the next video. Bye.